Hey guys, welcome back. It's Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about how manga is taking over U.S. comic book sales.
Yep. Wasn't there a controversy about this back a while ago on Twitter with Spike Troutman?
There might have been. There's a lot of controversy about that person on Twitter. I don't know. I
remember we talked about it before about making
manga sales.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember there was something going on about that before.
Well, look, manga is definitely making a huge comeback. I mean, I'm not even going to mince words, and no. I do think that manga is kind of replacing traditional floppy superhero comics for a lot of people. A lot of people, they don't read superhero comics, but they'll pick up My Hero Academia or Bleach or Naruto or something like that.
One Punch Man.
Yeah, One Punch Man. I mean, yeah, I do absolutely believe that anime and manga are taking a chunk out of the traditional comic book market. I mean, the comic book industry has a lot of problems. It's got a lot of problems, but the fact that people are going for manga again, after it had sort of cooled off. It was really big about 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, kind of cooled off for a while. Now it seems to really be making a comeback.
Well, maybe the mainstream should just do better.
Maybe the mainstream should do better.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this, some news and opinions coming out of Anime Expo 2019. Before we do that, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We really would appreciate it. We love your subs. We love subs.
Subscribe for Neon.
Subscribe. Okay, subscribe for Geeky.
I beat you.
We want your subs.
God, it drives me nuts to keep saying subscribe for Geeky.
You don't have to. I'm not forcing anybody.
You should get a comb here every day and brush my hair, brush my hair every time you do it because you're like subscribe for Geeky. And I'm like, look, I'm brushing. It's all for you.
It's all for you.
And that's just weird. And then it's just really that just gets weird.
I'm brushing right now.
My sister's like,
can't you hear me brushing?
That's really weird. And I'm like, you know what? It is weird.
Brushing my hair. Did you hear it? Okay, so
you don't have hair. Wait, do you hear it?
That's my fuzz. Oh, it's in my head's all sweaty.
It is, yeah. Ew.
Sorry. Anyway, it's hot. It's hot in the studio. Hot in here. This is coming from comicbook.com, and it's TMI. Anime executives reveal how manga is taking over U.S. comic sales. And I do agree with this somewhat. I really do. Eastern manga has always had something of a friendly rivalry with that of Western comic books. While comic books are still seen as something as a niche hobby, despite the smash
success. Sounds about right.
The smash success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, manga is widely accepted in Japan, with both children and adults reading it far more per capita than comic books in the West. Anime executives at the panel for Project Anime, that's where the anime executives are, discussed why they believe that manga sales are currently overtaking those of comic books in the West proper. Twitter user Deb Akey, I think it's Deb Akey. I think I follow her. She used to write for The Beat. Broke down the panel documenting why these executives believe that manga is overtaking comic book sales in the West for a myriad of factors.
You're going to read every word in this
I'm not going to read every Well, really? It's a very short article. Well, we're going to discuss. We're going to read and discuss. Is what we do.
You read every word.
So the opening remark here at Project Anime is going through a period. The anime and manga is going through a period of radical change as overseas interest and availability of content from Japan has grown and increased investment from overseas.
That whole tweet just reminds me of like when you're like a little kid in middle school or whatever, and you go to those health classes. Now, guys, you're going to notice there's some radical changes in your body. You're going to go through a period of radical change, girls. Sorry, that's what it reminds me of.
You're going to grow and expand into new markets.
It's going to increase.
It's going to increase in volume.
It's going to increase your demand overseas. I don't know.
Okay, they're talking about how the sales in Japan are declining because the overall population in Japan is declining, but manga is becoming more appealing to audiences worldwide. And they talk about how they're basically trying very, very hard to woo Hollywood, or Hollywood's trying to woo them, which we talk about.
Yeah, we've mentioned many times.
On this channel. So basically, they're talking about the executives noting that 5 years ago, the main battle for the properties was Crunchyroll versus Funimation. Today it's Warner Brothers, Sony Pictures, Amazon, Netflix. It'll be very interesting trend to study this. So there's not really a whole lot of, information on it, but this is something we're seeing. Like, you talk to a lot of younger kids today, and a lot of our followers, even on Clownfish TV, while we do talk about comic books, we worked in the comic book industry for years, most of our followers are more into anime and video games than they are Western comic books. And there is some overlap, but if people are into superheroes, chances are they're watching, the movies.
Yeah.
Chances are they're watching TV, or they're into something like, My Hero Academia or something like that. So, this is a really interesting thing
Basically,
to watch.
what's interesting to me is that they're basically admitting that it's starting to take a big hunk out of Western comic sales. And I'm like, you're going to need to start counting this in. If you aren't already counting it in on your list of best-selling books or whatever, are they counting this stuff in on that?
Yeah, they have been for graphic novels, yeah. And
for graphic novels, what about comics and stuff?
Well, because, so they don't... most of the time,
they're mostly graphic.
Unless they're single issues. And like Udon, I know, puts out
Yeah, what I'm
single
saying
issues.
is, so they deliberately keep those separate. And I'm like, so, then it's not really fair. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't give a very...
a good picture.
Right, we've talked about this before, and there's some debate as to how graphic novel sales are compared to comic book sales. And while I do think that some of the young adult graphic novels, the Scholastic, I think there might be some numbers being juggled there a little bit. I do believe that manga sells very, very well. And, even a low-selling manga in Japan makes the best-selling Marvel book look like trash.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, for me, I'd rather have a graphic novel than a floppy. I know some people think otherwise, but I'd rather just have a big story, a big chunk at once, and then have to buy a bunch of small issues. That's what I prefer personally. But I just think that, they need to start really considering this and when they're figuring this in. I know now they're taking into crowdfunding into account to try to boost their numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're going to start using this in their numbers anyway, because they're going, look, comics are popular because we're selling all this manga, which isn't really the same thing, but it is, but it's not.
Yeah, that's what's hard. It's like, it's really hard to look at the comic book industry objectively. And clearly the direct market, the superhero market, is on the decline. I mean, it's dropping off a cliff. It's in bad shape.
I think it's already been dropped off the cliff. It's now a Soulstone.
Yeah, there's not much left of it. Comic shops are closing at a shocking rate, but there's still a demand for comic book stories. It's just that I think people who are going to read comics now probably aren't going to get into comics reading a 32-page comic from the comic book shop. They're going to probably just pick up, some manga or graphic novel or read a webcomic, and that's kind of where things are going to go. But, this is a trend we're noticing too. Like I said, just in our own audience, we're seeing that, I would say only maybe 10% of our subscribers are actually interested in the comic book industry. They're more interested in manga, anime, and video games. It's a much bigger demographic.
Well, it's also interesting to me, too. They're talking about how there's so many places in Hollywood fighting over this now. And it's kind of like where superheroes, when they started making the movies, they became crazy popular, more popular than ever. And now that's where we're going to start seeing it with anime and stuff, and manga books it's based on. Because now these big companies are all fighting to see who's going to get what. So I think we're going to see a huge uptick in that. Unfortunately, they don't get the animators don't get treated very well.
Right. And that's a whole other thing. But I mean, this is why you're seeing Netflix and Warner Brothers and everybody chasing after manga and anime properties now. And this puts the bigger picture together, right? Because we talked about the anime gate, and really what could potentially be going on here is that Hollywood is already trying to prime, I guess, anime to be adapted to Western sensibilities.
When you say Western sensibility, I put that in quotes because it's not Western sensibility in general. It's a few people who dictate everything that come from Tumblr. They're not the Western sensibility. Tumblr sensibility.
I am doing air quotes. Look at my air quotes. I'm making
sensibility.
Tumblr sensibilities. What they think, what Hollywood thinks mainstream America wants.
And no matter how much things fail, they keep thinking this. I'm like, I don't know what else that they can do for you because they keep showing you with their wallet they don't want this shit.
Right.
And you keep doing the same thing over and over again. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I would just constitute these people as crazy.
But we're seeing, look, I mean, we talked about, the live action Akira movie coming out. We've got, they're talking other live action adaptations.
Did well.
Yeah, Alita was actually done really, really well. So if Akira is, as good as Alita, I'm not worried about it. I'm just concerned that,
some of the choices they're making, I'm a little bit like,
Then last night, again, we had, Kevin McKeever from Harmony Gold on. They talked about how they're going to do Robotech movies, So clearly, anime and manga is where Hollywood is going to go next. They're
going to strip mine that now.
Well, I think they've run out of superheroes.
Well, you know what? Here's maybe they should focus on original ideas. I keep saying
that would
that.
Be, yeah.
I'm just so damn tired of reboots, live action reboots from Disney. I'm so tired of sequels, You know, I'm so tired of reboots. I'm so tired of all of it. I'm just like, make new things. So I guess in some way it's making new things. It's just that, you know, they're just going to focus on that and then repeat that over and over again.
Yeah. And, but, you know, talking about just the comics in general, like, you know, we talked before about the Viz app. Mm-hmm. It's like, what is it, $1.99, all you can read manga?
We have it, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Compared to...
I have to actually use it.
Yeah, well, I was reading it before.
I know you were.
I like it. And you can't beat the price. But compare that to Comixology, where they want, you know, a full retail price for a print comic. They want $3.99 for a Marvel digital download. For $1.99, you can read all you want. So, and then a lot of the web comics are usually done in the this style too, in the anime manga style. So this is what, you know, this is what's coming next, you know. And it's weird because it was big 10, 15 years ago, and then we sort of saw it, you know, die off a little bit. And now it's
coming back.
It's coming back because now you got superheroes here too, right?
See, they're the ones I mentioned. So
yeah, look at that. So I don't know. Again, it's not all manga's fault. It's just that I think tastes are sort of changing. You know?
Well, I think they're, you know, people just get tired of crap and want something that's better.
Well, yeah, in the Western comic book market or industry right now, it's crap. There's a lot of crap.
We want to read things that are more what we want.
Yeah, so hopefully
you don't do what they want, they'll find it someplace else. That's how business works.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm not even mincing words anymore. I'm tired of mincing words. You give them that, they don't want it, they're not going to buy it, and then you whine because they're not buying it, and then you start calling them names because, well, you must be this, that, or whatever because you didn't buy it. No, I just think your story sucks. It's as simple as that. Anyway,
that is as simple as that. And I'm just thinking, hey, we got Chainsaw Man. Is that Chainsaw Pug?
I don't know. Dog? I think it's fun. Anyway,
I gotta read this.
Let's wrap this up.
So we're gonna wrap this up. Please subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture news, views, and rants. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.